A tense defense. This one against the young Mexican Rafael Marquez, the brother of the new featherweight sensation Juan Manuel. Commentary from Lester Bedford and Dave Bontempi. Let's join it for the start.
Well, it very well could be, because there's a lot of people trying to get him up in there with Marco Antonio Barrera and Paulie Ayala and Johnny Tapias and guys in that division. That's where all the money's at. And he can toil in this division forever and go for Orlando Canizales' record of 17 title defenses, which he very well could do. But he's not going to make any money doing that at 118 pounds. So he's trying to establish himself and then move on up to bigger and better things.
Austin, the southpaw, digs the body. Talked about his reach advantage. It's fairly substantial. Scores with the left hand. Right jab, straight left hand behind that.
It's a pretty imposing.
Good left hand by Austin as he's utilizing his reach advantage well.
His height as a bantamweight is pretty imposing on the other fighter. I mean, 5'6" for a 118-pound fighter is very unusual. And to maintain it for that many years is even more unusual.
Well, he's a lefty, but there was a righty years ago by the name of Jeff Chandler, who was so dominant in that division because of the tall stature that he had.
Well, that's where the comparisons are with Tim Austin or with Jeff Chandler, who was a great champion and had many title defenses. And Jeff Chandler never quite made the big money either. It's all about finding opponents that mean something so that you can get in there and make the big money. And that's how you become a great fighter, is beating great fighters. And he has not beaten a great fighter yet, and he's still looking to do that.
Austin taking a grazing left hand. Marquez missing with a left hook to the body. Austin closing up.
Now, neither guy really trying to do too much right now. I think they're just trying to fill each other out, which is very typical of a 12-round championship fight.
You have to see what works. It's like you watch other sports and a football game, the opening plays are scripted, and then they find out what works best, and they go into that the rest of the game. In this case, it's a matter of Tim Austin seeing what he can accomplish with the reach, and for Rafael Marquez, how good is that reach by Austin, and what will he have to do? So Austin is kind of leaping in behind his jab and doing some good work.
I'll tell you what, he's in superior condition. There's about 1% body fat on him, and he moves, but it's effective movement. He's not just running to be running. He moves from side to side, and he's a very, very clever fighter that with excellent technique. And that's the kind of style that you can conserve some energy and you can get some leverage, and which is what Ricardo Williams was not doing in the last fight. He was moving, but not effectively. He was only running himself in the ground to get in trouble late in the fight.
Bobbing and weaving and getting down and firing that body, all right? Going to put it out. Gamble down there. Start getting low. Get off that line, all right? Be backing up in a straight line. When you jab, touch that arm here and his shoulder. You got to step with your foot, all right? Don't really relax.
That's some good advice for Tim Austin. They're getting very specific about where they'd like him to be in the ring. There's nothing like Caesar's Palace and both the ambiance and the electricity in this fabled facility. Into round 2 we go. Scheduled for 12 for the IBF Bantamweight Championship. This is Dave Bontempo along with Lester Bedford. Tim Austin, one of the finer technicians in boxing.
He's certainly one of the most respected fighters, certainly in the lower weight division. Unusually, though, his feet are really far apart, and it's a little tough to get leverage when your feet are that far apart.
What do you think of that, generally?
Well, it's hard for him to step forward and to push off that back foot because their feet are already apart. And so he may be losing power because of it.
What makes guys comfortable in that? It gives them a chance to step back and avoid punches?
Well, there's some guys fight with their feet further apart than others, but his are really far apart. But Rafael Marquez are considerably far apart as well. Both guys' front leg are right out there, way in front of them, certainly more than usual. And either one's establishing their foot on the outside. When you get it right against a lefty, somebody's got to get their foot on the outside to get an advantage.
But it has been Austin making this ring smaller on Marquez.
Austin's a smart fighter. He's not going to waste any punches. And when he sees something that makes sense, he'll throw, like that big left hand right there.
2 jabs and a left hand by Austin. Looking again to load up. Marquez leaped into him.
One of the knocks on Austin is his style. It's not a real pleasing style to some boxing fans. They like to see guys get in a trade, and they don't want to see a lot of defense. And Austin's not that style of fighter. And it's probably hurt his promotional value some, but he's a very difficult guy to beat.
Well, if you have the good style and you're hard to hit and maybe your fights are not overwhelmingly exciting, then you need to have the lip. Do something to talk it up and get people to pay attention to you. And if you're soft-spoken, that's a hard thing to do.
Right, and he really needs to establish himself tonight because I think the TV people are looking for him to move up, and they want him to showcase himself tonight and be impressive, and he can certainly fit in there against Marco Antonio Barrera and all those other guys we talked about earlier. And but he's going to have to establish himself in the featherweight division to really get to the money, and he really needs to be impressive tonight to do it. So far, he hasn't been impressive, but it's still early in the fight.
And he's looking to see where things stack up for him here. Looking to go in and take the shot. 2 jabs by Austin.
Well, I think one of the problems with Tim Austin is he's left-handed. Nobody wants to fight left-handers, and you know it's awkward for Marquez. You can tell right now he's trying to find his way.
Especially a lefty that has a good chance to beat you.
Oh, of course.
And here we go into round 4. Scheduled for 12. IBF Bantamweight Championship on the line. Tim Austin in the black, defending it for the 10th time against Rafael Marquez. Marquez in the last round doing what righties need to do against the lefties. He scored with a double lead right hand.
Well, it was a good round for him. He finally picked up a round, it looks like, and when Tim Austin went back to his corner wanted him to jab and move over either to the right or to the left, and the problem is his jab is not effective. He's just kind of flipping it backhanded.
And Marquez lands another set of big right hands and shakes Tim Austin a bit. Another right hand, and Tim Austin is a little bit in trouble here. And Marquez slips, and that caused the end of that rally.
Dave, I think he's more trouble than a little bit. It looks like he's in a lot of trouble.
Marquez with a right hand, and Tim Austin coming back up, and a good right hand again by Marquez.
This is the problem with Tim Austin, is nobody knows how good he really is. And they're going to find out tonight because this guy's a real fighter he's in there with.
Marquez with a big right hand, and Austin back with a left hand. Marquez gave a foreshadowing at the end of round 3 that his right hand would be here.
It looks like that Marquez has just forgot about trying to figure out Tim Austin and just go in there and start winging and try to hit him with anything, which might be the smartest thing you can do.
Sometimes if you do just wing it, you don't overthink it.
Right, but he better be careful. He's liable to get caught with something big coming in.
Although, even though we talk about that, what's the best weapon for him is the right hand lead against the lefty, and that's what he's been doing.
Right now he's gaining confidence about the second. And,
he is making Tim Austin pay whenever Tim Austin's missing.
And Tim's missing a lot right now. His legs are looking a little bit shaky. Doesn't seem like he has a good base for himself right now. It might be that fighter making 118 pounds for 10 fights in a row when you're 5'6". I can't tell you how difficult that is for a guy to keep making that lower weight.
We have a break as a mouthpiece. Piece of equipment is out.
It looked like a photo of the wife or somebody. I don't know what that was. A piece of paper of some sort.
Taking a picture of the action, and then we'll adjust between rounds. So here is Marquez stalking Tim Austin.
You know, one of the things when guys have long, lean bodies like that, they don't have that good, solid base of big legs. They're more susceptible to get hurt with punches. I don't know why that is, but Tommy Hearns is that kind of fighter.
Terrific puncher, but no chin in that respect.